Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into the world of movies, but not Hollywood movies. This time we're exploring some of the best films from different genres around the world. For this list, I've avoided overly famous movies that everyone already knows. Instead, I've chosen some lesser known but still incredible films that deserve more attention. Now you might be wondering, what movies are we featuring? Our first two movies are related to World War II. One is an anti-war film, and the other is about espionage. Let's start with the spy thriller, Black Book. If I had to describe this film, I'd begin with its director. He is Dutch and has also made some well-known Hollywood films, including Basic Instinct, Total Recall, and RoboCop. Black Book is set in Nazi-occupied Holland during World War II. The story follows a young female singer who loses her entire family in the war. She then joins the resistance and becomes a spy, forming a dangerous relationship with a Nazi officer, knowing she could be exposed at any moment. Released in 2006, Black Book was the most expensive Dutch film ever made at the time, with a budget of around $21 million. The lead actress, Caris van Houten, received critical praise for her performance. You may recognize her as Melisandre from Game of Thrones. Critics praised the film for its gripping tension and strong emotional impact, making it a must-watch for fans of historical thrillers. The IMDb score of 7.7, All Quiet on the Western Front. The war film I want to introduce is All Quiet on the Western Front, a World War I movie released in 2022. It's one of the newest films on our list. While it captures the intense action and atmosphere of war, it also highlights the senselessness of war, making it a truly anti-war film. Interestingly, it's based on a novel written nearly 100 years ago. The book was so strongly anti-war that although it had been adapted into movies before, none of them were made by Germans, because the German government once saw it as unpatriotic. However, in 2022, for the first time, Germany itself made this adaptation. The movie is a Netflix production. At first, you might think, oh, just another Netflix film, but this one is exceptionally well directed. It was nominated for 9 Oscars, a record for a German film, and won 2, including Best Foreign Language Film. The story follows a young German soldier who, influenced by government propaganda, eagerly joins the war, thinking it will be an exciting adventure. But when he arrives at the front lines, he faces the brutal reality of World War I. At that time, up to 40,000 German soldiers were dying each day, so many that people feared Germany would soon be left without soldiers. The film doesn't just portray Germans as villains. Instead, it focuses on showing the horrors and absurdity of war itself, making it a powerful and emotional experience. There are also some absurd moments in All Quiet on the Western Front. One of the most emotional scenes shows a German soldier fighting a French soldier, and what happens next is truly powerful. The film has an IMDb score of 7.8. Now let's move on to the next recommendation. It's called Society of the Snow, a survival drama. The story follows a Uruguayan rugby team traveling to Chile when their plane crashes in the middle of the mountains. Most passengers don't survive, but a few do. Struggling against freezing temperatures, hunger, and despair, they must make heartbreaking choices to stay alive. The most fascinating part? This movie is based on a true story. It's adapted from a book written by one of the survivors himself. The author even spoke with the actors to help them understand the real emotions behind the tragedy. The filmmakers also shot scenes in the actual mountains where the events took place, adding to the film's authenticity. The first 15 minutes of Society of the Snow are so intense that they pull you in immediately. The character development, even for supporting roles, is outstanding. The film holds a 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes, 72 on Metacritic, and a strong rating on IMDb. And I'm not stopping here. Up next is another Spanish film from the crime and mystery genre. I promise, this one will keep you guessing until the very last 10 minutes. Comes from one of the best crime thriller directors in the industry. You may have heard of his other works, such as The Invisible Guest or the popular mini-series The Innocent. So, what's the story of this film? It's called The Body, and it starts with a mystery. A woman's corpse goes missing from the morgue in the middle of the night. Then, her husband gets a shocking phone call. Sir, your wife has escaped from the morgue. She's alive. What really happened? Where did the body go? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. It has a solid IMDb rating of 7.6. Now let's move on to another Spanish language film, except this one is not from Spain, but from Mexico. Interestingly, it's about Spanish history. It was directed by one of Hollywood's most creative filmmakers, Guillermo del Toro, who won an Oscar for The Shape of Water. He's known for bringing fantasy worlds to life, which is why his stop-motion version of Pinocchio also won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. The film I'm talking about is Pan's Labyrinth, released in 2006. The story follows a young girl who moves to Spain with her mother after World War II to live with her cruel stepfather, a fascist military officer. Trapped in this harsh reality, she begins escaping into a world of fantasy, where magical creatures tell her she must pass 3 difficult tests to prove she is the chosen one. Pan's Labyrinth is filled with deep symbolism. For example, a tree in the movie represents mercy. Pay close attention to the film's symbols and dialogues. They add another layer of meaning to the story. The film has an excellent IMDb score of 8.2 and won 3 Oscars. It's a must-watch for fans of fantasy and deep storytelling. The next film on our list is one of the first epic films in Chinese cinema, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In fact, the action scenes in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon were a major inspiration for The Matrix. The film was directed by Ang Lee, a filmmaker who later won an Oscar for Life of Pi. Released in 2000, the story revolves around a legendary sword that is suddenly stolen. A group of skilled warriors is called upon to retrieve it, and their investigation leads them to a seemingly ordinary young girl who loves to cook and write. But as they dig deeper, they uncover her mysterious past. While the movie is filled with intense action, it also has a touching love story woven into the plot. Starring Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat, the film features breathtaking fight scenes. What's even more impressive is that it had a budget of only $17 million but managed to earn $128 million worldwide. Because it was filmed in China with fewer resources, all the actors performed their stunts using wires, without the safety of a studio. This made every scene incredibly risky. The film holds an IMDb score of 7.9, was nominated for 10 Oscars, and won Best Foreign Film, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Original Score. Hero, 2002. The second Chinese epic on our list is Hero, released in 2002. The movie stars the legendary Jet Li, and was directed by Zhang Yimou, the same director behind Raise the Red Lantern. The story follows an unnamed warrior, played by Jet Li, who claims to have defeated the king's most dangerous enemies, rebellious assassins who threatened the throne. As a reward, the king invites him to the palace and asks him to share the details of his battles. What follows is a beautifully crafted narrative, where each part of the warrior's story is visually represented with different colors, red, blue, green, and white, creating a stunning cinematic experience. Hero was a massive production, costing $30 million, making it China's most expensive film at the time. However, it was a huge success, earning $177 million worldwide. The film received 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, an 85 on Metacritic, and an IMDb score of 7.9. It's widely regarded as one of the most visually stunning martial arts films ever made. Now, let's move on to the first Japanese film on our list, an anime masterpiece called The Wind Rises. This film was directed by the legendary Hayao Miyazaki, a name that needs no introduction. He is one of the most influential animators in Japan and the genius behind Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and many other classics. More details about The Wind Rises to follow. The Wind Rises, released in 2013, was his last film for many years. The story follows a boy who dreams of flying and becomes an airplane designer. But as war breaks out, his talent is used for military purposes. This movie tells a bittersweet story of how dreams can be shaped or misused by history. Alongside this, we also witness a touching love story. The Wind Rises was nominated for the Best Animated Feature Oscar but lost to Frozen. Some critics felt that it romanticized war too much, while others praised it as a masterpiece that blends both sorrow and beauty. Memoirs of a Geisha, 2005. The second Japanese film on our list is Memoirs of a Geisha. While it was produced in the US, its story, setting, and themes are deeply connected to Japanese culture. Directed by Rob Marshall, the Oscar-winning director of Chicago, this romantic drama tells the story of a young girl in 1920s Japan who is sold into a geisha house. She trains for years to become one of the most sought-after geishas, navigating love, rivalry, and tradition along the way. With a budget of $85 million, this was one of the most expensive non-English films at the time. It later grossed $162 million worldwide. The Lives of Others, 2006. The final film I want to introduce is The Lives of Others, a German film that won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film the year it was released. Set in 1980s East Germany, the story follows a secret agent who is assigned to spy on a theater director. His job is to wiretap the director's home and report any suspicious activity. However, as he listens in on the director's life, the agent, a strict believer in the communist regime, begins to question his own loyalty and ideals. This film has an IMDb rating of 8.4. Unlike some of the other movies I introduced, it has a slower pace, but it's an absolute must-watch for anyone who enjoys deep, thought-provoking storytelling. That wraps up our list of top 10 non-English movies. I hope you found at least one great movie to watch. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie recommendations. See you in the next video.